Movie trailers these days often give away the entire plot of the film in 2.5 minutes. It's becoming increasingly rare to walk into a cinema and leave truly surprised. Key plot points, twists, sometimes even the film's ending. It all raises an important question. Are we sacrificing the magic of cinema for the sake of marketing? Speak No Evil, the latest psychological thriller by British The Woman in Black director James Watkins, is a remake of a 2022 Danish film of the same name, and it is, ironically given the movie's title, one that might have benefited from speaking less in its promotional material. It tells the story of the Dalton family, Ben, played by Scott McNairy, Louise, played by Mackenzie Davis, and their daughter Agnes, played by Alex Leffler. The Daltons are on holiday and strike up a friendship with a British couple, Paddy, played by James McAvoy, Chiara, played by Eiling Frankowski, and their mute son Ant, played by Don Howe. At the end of the holiday, Paddy invites the Daltons to their isolated family home in Devon, an offer they accept and make good on a few months later during a time of family strife. Initially, the visit goes well. The Daltons are able to relax and marvel at the freedom with which Paddy and his family live their rural lives. But soon we begin to get hints that there might be a few skeletons in Paddy and Chiara's closets. When Agnes makes a shocking discovery, we're left with a question. Has everything Paddy's been telling the Daltons been a lie all along? You'll have to forgive me for the vague story summary there, but I'm keen not to go against the message of this review and spoil the movie any more than necessary. One thing that definitely does not spoil the movie though is James McAvoy's performance as Paddy, which is excellent throughout. He's been in a lot of films I've enjoyed over the years, but this is the first movie I've seen that's entirely his, where he dominates the rest of the cast. He's carrying a little mask these days, but it works for his character in this movie, who's a subtle menace, a superficially pleasant man who's actually a bully. McAvoy has just enough charm and danger about him to pull it off. Almost as impressive is Mackenzie Davis, who plays the Dalton family mum. She has a mostly reactive role in the film, but handles it well, selling her emotions with her facial expressions and body language to a degree I've not seen for a while. The story of Speak No Evil, on the other hand, is a little familiar. In fact, again, being careful not to give too much away, it's the kind of tale that's somewhat predictable in that you have a broad sense of what's going to happen right from the first few scenes. Especially, as mentioned, if you've seen the trailers online, and especially if you have even the most basic grasp of cinema genres. Still, there's a tidy script here that communicates a lot in only a few words. Displays of power are shown subtly. Little tidbits of backstory are leaked out like drips from a tap rather than jet streamed in your face. And the overall setup, youngish couple meet second couple on holiday and become friends, is so common that we can all relate. Precisely what you want for an audience in a psychological thriller. One thing I particularly enjoyed were the little clues planted throughout the script that hint at what's to come. Little looks from the characters, objects in the background that should perhaps not be there, events that with later context mean more than they seem at first viewing. It's not quite Sixth Sense, but it gives repeat watchers something to look out for. The filmmaking in Speak No Evil is solid too. I'm not sure what the general reception to James Watkins' Daniel Radcliffe-led The Woman in Black was, but I had a good time with it and thought it was well enough made. The same can be said of this latest film. The tone is sinister throughout, with cameras that linger over your shoulder, sparse music like a heartbeat thumping in your chest. The editing is quick and efficient, and the film uses colour and tone well to communicate character feelings. Overall, for a movie with a $15 million budget, it holds up well. The only area where I'd say Speak No Evil dips a little is in its pacing. It's a common problem for a lot of modern films which feel they need to be longer than their story merits. But this normally applies to the 2.5 to 3 hour behemoths like Dune Part 2 and the recent Indiana Jones. Seriously, who thought that needed to be 2 hours and 34 minutes? Speak No Evil doesn't transgress to that degree, coming in at a tidy 1 hour and 50 minutes, but even that's a touch too long for a simple story like this which sags in the middle and has a few scenes that either drag on or could have been cut entirely. If your movie takes place in one location in time, say a few hours or a weekend, keep it on the shorter side, because if you don't, it better be Kubrick's The Shining levels of good to get away with it. So where does that leave us? I've not seen the 2022 Danish Speak No Evil, so can't compare, but I can say there's a lot to commend in this 2024 film. McAvoy is outstanding, as is Mackenzie Davis. The movie's creepy and has a great last act that genuinely had my stomach feeling queasy with tension as it ramped up. Whilst it can't stand with the absolute best in genre, Speak No Evil falls into that 10 Cloverfield Lane category of being a solid B grade, and in 2024's movie lineup, that's not a bad thing. Just, if you want a tip from me, try and see it without watching the trailers first. You'll still know what's coming, it's not the kind of film that can hide that, but at least you won't have seen how it happens. Anyway, nothing more to say, this is Movie Mavericks signing out.